Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for being here with us today. For a new, we used to call it Wisdom Wednesday. We changed the name. We're trying to change the name. We're going back to the basic. We call it Mind Muscles podcast. We're changing the name. It was always on Wednesday, so we're changing today. We're going to make it once a week, not on a specific day, but inshallah, we keep it once a week. Inshallah. Let me give you a brief on what's the podcast about. What do we do? So I've been interviewing people since almost October, November last year. We started off with a group of coaches where I used to interview coaches and talk about different topics. And slowly and gradually started to change to a different direction. So I'm expanding it to normal people who have an impact, people who has done something that almost no one noticed. Trying to empower those people, try to also give an idea to other people to be inspired by them. When Ali came and told me about you, I said, yeah, definitely, this is exactly what we are looking for. A young entrepreneur who started something from scratch by himself. We need more people like him. We need to see more UAE national entrepreneurs that can start something and start an idea that no one thought of. So before we start, brother, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure thing. Thank you very much for the introduction and for hosting me. I'm quite pleased and excited about this interview. My name is Mohammed Fadhlani. I am 32 years old, and I started a business in 2020 called Game Day. I think I'll talk a bit about the project and what it meant to me, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my background in life. So this concept was developed as a sports booking application, and in 2020 it was just an idea that myself and my friends were throwing out when we were organizing our regular football games and getting last minute cancellations and having to problem solve and call the facilities and check for other times. And you know how the hassle goes for every person who books a sport game, especially when other people are involved. And given the global direction and the trend shifting to doing everything on your phone rather than picking the phone and talking to someone, we thought that this might be a great opportunity where we can bring all the playgrounds and completely simplify the process for everyone to be able to book their venues and go and practice their favorite sports. Having said that, my personal background includes nothing on coding, nothing on app development, just a bit of business. My background is on finance. I'm purely a numbers guy. But in the previous phase of my life, I wanted to evolve a little bit and grow just from being a finance person. So I went to the UK and I did a doctorate in business administration, which I completed last year. And in tandem, I started the project. And you know what's really funny, Masoud, is that after studying more than say 18 years just general studies and probably 10 years in business and finance, when I started applying this on a real business scenario, I realized that nothing I have learned have worked. And you have to take it from a PhD holder. The real world is very different. All the challenges that you come across are pretty different. The skills that you need to develop in order to bring something from the ground up is not something that you find in academic books, and it's mostly something that comes to your mind when you talk to people about different things, when you start hearing the whispers in some certain topic, and
Mhm.
that's how ideas develop and manifest. And I'm very pleased that although the project of Game Day took a bit of time, more than it was expected,
Mhm.
today we are at the very final stages, and we have already launched it on a soft launch basis, just
Mashallah.
correcting a few things and optimizing the last touches, and we will be ready to go live, inshallah, by next week. So that's
Inshallah.
a little bit
Inshallah.
of a background on myself and the project as a whole.
Amazing. Amazing. You know, I will be one of the first people who's gonna use your application because I really struggle when it comes to organizing football games. And by the way, I think, and this is a message to everyone out there. I had this idea 5 years ago,
Wow.
but I didn't actually action on it. I didn't do anything. I spoke to a couple of friends. Let's do this, and I depended on others to do something about this idea, bring it to life. But when I couldn't find any support, it just died there. And I remember last year I was talking to Ali, and he said, "Hey, well, my friend is already starting something like this." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah, great. At least someone took my idea and started implementing it because it's such um, and this is all what business is about. You look, where do we have a gap, and then you just fill up that gap. You find the gap and fill up that gap. And I think today um, especially football, we used to play in الخريج, in an open space. Just it doesn't matter whatever number of 50 people in a playground, doesn't matter. We used to play. That was our culture. Today it's completely different. Today you need to have an exact number of people. You need to book in advance. You need to pay in advance. And if you don't have exact number, it will ruin your game simply, right? You're not
Exactly.
going to enjoy the game when you have a team stronger than a team, or you're missing one person. So I
Exactly.
think it does fill a lot of gaps, and I personally know a lot of people who are organizing games. Currently they do it on Facebook, maybe, or on WhatsApp. This will be a very well, it will be a place to go على طول, يعني it will be a simple place to go for everyone.
I
Um,
uh,
so-
I
yeah,
really
go
hope
ahead.
so, and I also wanted to tell you, just to touch up on your point, that ideas, when they come to you, you really need to act fast on it. I mean, I was
Yeah.
a little bit in your shoes in the beginning. Most of the delay happened at the initial stage, because it wasn't my background, and I did not know where to go or who to speak to. That took a bit of time. Halfway throughout the project, we started seeing similar apps with similar concepts coming up to the Apple Store and just showing up on my Instagram feed. And I go like, oh my God, more competition is coming to the market. And I used to really feel bad because the project was delayed, and we should have been the pioneers in this
Mhm.
domain, but we could not do it. Looking back at that phase, I think what happened was a bless, because we've seen the mistakes that these apps have done, and we've seen why some of them succeeded, why some of them did not. We've
Yeah.
taken that learning, and we were quick to action in that second phase, because we've learned that if you don't action, nothing is going to happen. So we started implementing changes and optimizing the app to an extent that it became very user friendly, pretty interactive, and just completely reliable when it comes to booking your sports playground. Of course, a few challenges and hiccups around the way, but I'm really pleased that we are where we are today.
Dr. Muhammad, I should call you Dr. Muhammad. Now I know that you have that talent. Oh, I'm interested to know what kind of challenges you went through. It's been 2 years almost. You're working on the project.
Let me tell you few of the big challenges that we faced. I mean, initially, the funding for the project was one of the main concerns. I mean, it was a very limited budget that we had to work on this project. So naturally, as a choice, we went with a service provider that was at that budget. Slowly, we realized that the product itself, and in terms of the design, when we gave us the prototype, to be completely honest, it was very ugly. And at that stage, I said, there is no way we are going to take this to the market and attach a brand name to it. And that is when we had to take one brave decision and go for a very posh designer to design the app, because at the end of the day, this is the image that your customers are going to face. And I think this was one of the key success factors in when we look back today, that we opted for a fantastic organization to design the app, and then we continued with the development with the same company to maintain the budget. Throughout the implementation phase, one of the issues that hit us was clearly COVID. COVID put a lot of pressure on the developer side, because they had to, they cut jobs, they were working from home, and the process as a whole was not very efficient. For someone who's just starting and to learn this process, it was very difficult to navigate. So that was another key challenge. But when we were at the stage where the prototype was ready and we wanted to onboard venues and clients, this was a major hiccup in the business, because initially we thought it's going to be easy. Why wouldn't they agree? It's just a matter of picking the phone and having a chat to them saying, we have a sports booking application. Why don't you join our platform? So we made a list of about 10 to 15 venues, and I personally called them. And to my surprise, each one said no. Each one of them said no. We're not really interested in this idea, either because they were not interested in the idea, or either because they already signed up with another platform, or they were developing their own apps. And the major challenge was not that. The major challenge was dealing with failure, because at that time I felt like we failed, and the project was a failure, and it was going nowhere. So coming over that psychological challenge was, I would say, the main challenge in the entire process. I mean, dealing with the developers, with the delays, changing concepts, implementing features. Yes, there were challenges, but these were challenges that you could easily overcome with a bit of research, with a bit of time, and a bit of a stretch on the budget. But the psychological challenge was the beast, was the toughest one, to be honest. In order to say, even if those 15 did not accept, I'll still go and talk to another 15 and another 15 and another 15 and another 15 until I get one. And then the snowball is going to start rolling. It was a very difficult phase, because you have to deal with a lot of rejections. And at the end of the day, you have to smile and say, thank you very much. Although from inside, you're saying completely the opposite, So we had to find a solution. We said, okay, probably, maybe our approach was wrong. Maybe the way we were approaching the guys were wrong. Maybe the guys we were approaching were wrong. So we tried to change the proposition, and we went to FootLab, which is the first client that signed with Game Day. And we said to them, we pitched the idea, and we asked them, what do you want? What is your expectation? So they said, we expect you to generate bookings for us, to get people to know the place. They were also pretty new. And we said to them, why don't we do a tournament together, and we will sponsor a few teams in the tournament just to bring them to the facility for them to play. We will pay for it completely. We just need you to get on our platform. That's the only thing we want. And they were happy to do that. Masoud, I kid you not, once that happened, it was a complete shift and the snowball started rolling. We got the next client immediately, and we got a contract for 7 venues the week after. So it created a lot of positive impact once that single moment of light came to life, you know. So in terms of challenges, I would say I was my main challenge.
That's so interesting that you're saying that. I'm gonna take you back there, and I want to know what kind of thoughts you had. You had a lot of projection, right? So what kind of thoughts you had when you received all these rejections? What was going on in your mind?
In my mind, what was going on is that I probably was not born to be a business person. I don't know how to sell. Selling is not my ball game. I need to find someone who can do it on my behalf. Maybe I'm not using the right language. Maybe I need to change the approach. Maybe I need to stop sending emails and call people. Maybe I need to stop calling people and sending emails. And then, to be completely honest, this is what I did. I stopped. I couldn't. After a week's break, I thought to myself, look, we've already spent that money. We've already put a lot of effort and time into the project. We can't give up now. I'm sure there will be a moment of light. And I thought I needed to change the approach completely. And maybe it's true. Maybe I'm not the right person to sell the product. So I asked for help, and I invited partners to the project who were really astute in that skill. They were doing this for bread and butter. And I've invited them to partner in the app, saying, you know what, let's become partners. We don't want any investment from your end. We just need your time. Go and speak to those playgrounds and sign them. And that was a big game changer as well. When I started that, seeing that this approach might be better rather than me going and speaking to the people, A, because I did not have enough time managing a full-time job, B, maybe because this was not my skill or this is not my background. So I went and hired someone to do business development as a full-time business development manager for the platform. I did not care about the budget at that stage. I just needed the project to come to life, because you know money comes and goes, and it's an investment at the end. The more risk you take, the more reward you might receive. So we took that risk. We put a few things in place, and I understood that the issue was not in me as a person. The issue was in the approach. I should have done this from the beginning, but you make mistakes and you learn along the way.
You learn from the mistakes, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, it's interesting that I went through some of these challenges personally myself as well, and I have learned this thing. I think the biggest issue with young entrepreneurs or people who try to start something by themselves is they try to do everything by themselves. Well, it's not your, as you said, your bread and butter. It's not your expertise. It's not the place that you can do this, you know, and do it perfectly. It's not just doing it. Give it to the expert.
Exactly.
As simple as that. I've been trying to work on my coaching business for quite some time now, almost 4 years. It wasn't working because I was trying to do everything by myself. And then I said, why? What I want to do? I want to do content. I'm good in content. I'm good in talking. This is my skill. I'm not good in social media. I'm not good in designing. I'm not good in all that. So why should I even waste my time, waste my effort, try to do something that's not my bread and butter? Um, Hired someone, pay them money, they'll do it in 5 minutes in the best way possible. And I can do something else in the spare time that I have. I can do what I'm good at. And I think that is a key game changer in any business. Um, and then I noticed something else that you said as well. You said once I had the first deal, immediately in the week, a week after you had another 6 or 7 deals, right?
Correct.
Um, and that I think personally that is your energy talking, because once you have a deal, then your body energy changes. You feel, oh, this is possible. I can do this. And if you approach people with that energy, so many things change because people can feel what kind of energy you're coming from, right? If you go with an energy of, I hope they agree to work with me, you know, other than, hello, this is me, this is what I'm doing. You better sign up with me because in few years you will fall behind, you know. It makes a lot of difference, a lot of difference.
The first one is
Uh,
almost always the most difficult. Always.
yes,
Once you get through the first one, the second and third one are much easier.
exactly. It's always the biggest first step, you know.
Absolutely.
I had the same few days ago. Someone approached me and they were like, "We want you to do sales for us." And so I had one of my friends that I approached and I told them, "Hey, I got one, two, three, four. What do you think?" He said, "You want to do sales? No way. Go and tell them I'm an entrepreneur. If you want me to do this, pay me this much money upfront, and then we talk." Believe me, their languages changed. And instead of one
Absolutely.
person talking to me, we had the owner of the company came in a meeting and we started something big.
That's
So
fantastic.
your energy, your own thoughts, when you approach people, when you talk to people, um, makes a lot of difference.
Absolutely, Masood. And just to reiterate on what you said, I mean, during the phase that I stopped because I thought I'm a complete failure. eh, The thing, the sentence that kept ringing in my mind is that I'm the owner of this business. So why am I
Mm-hmm.
acting like a project manager? I should
Mm-hmm.
act like the owner of this business and
Yeah.
start hiring the right people to do the right things, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then I floated a vacancy on LinkedIn. I interviewed about 15, 20 people for different roles. And
Mm-hmm.
even if I did not hire any of them, each one of them came and said an idea and or suggested an approach. And that was
Mm-hmm.
really beneficial. The more
Mm-hmm.
people you talk to about something, the more knowledgeable you become, the more perspectives you get. And, maybe someone says something and it changes the whole game for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened to me. I spoke to people and I started changing the approach completely. I got the
Mm-hmm.
right person to do the right job, and Alhamdulillah, it's going well now.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Ahmed, if you have um, three learnings from this journey, what will be your three biggest learning?
Be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Never shoot yourself down,
Mm-hmm.
and don't try to do everything by yourself.
Awesome. 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 I think يد المغرب.
أيوة.
Let's in this. I think we have around half an hour. I really
No?
enjoyed this interview with you. You inspired me, صراحة.
Likewise,
uh,
brother.
and inshallah, we'll see you soon. I have also a very interesting idea to share with you. maybe we can do something together in the future. You never know.
Amazing.
And thank you so much for your time. And I wish you all the best, inshallah. I'll be waiting for the app to be launched officially to share it with my contacts, inshallah.
Sure thing. We will let you know, and we will send you a gift with it. Thank you
so
for
much.
hosting me, and it was really lovely talking to you, Mr. Masoud.
Thank you, Muhammad. All the best, inshallah.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Yes.